perfect rival trope is one of the most useful psychological tools a writer can use. But most beginner writers completely mess it up. They just create a generic villain who gets in the protagonist's way. The secret to truly captivate a creative audience is understanding that a perfect rival isn't there to physically block your protagonist. They are there to break them from the inside out. And the craziest part is, the writer of SpongeBob SquarePants delivered an absolute masterclass in this trope, almost by accident, through the character of Squilliam Theory. On the surface, it's just an absurd cartoon. But in reality, it's a brilliant study of ego management and status dynamics. In storytelling, a true rivalry is a collision, not a coexistence. The writer of SpongeBob perfectly avoided the trap of the low-cost antagonist, the kind of character who just giggles in a corner and sabotages the hero without trying to achieve anything themselves. They also avoided making him a one-dimensional villain who is just unlikable and bland. To link their stakes organically, the writers apply the golden rule of the shared quest. They have a shared origin, which is the high school band class, and the same exact passion for art and the clarinet. But there is only room for one winner. Their trajectories aren't two parallel monologues, they are tightly intertwined by a shared resentment. This structural depth is exactly what pushed YouTuber Alex Bill to formulate his famous Squilliam Theory. In it, he proves that Squilliam is a massive psychological manipulator who spends fortunes just to humiliate Squidward. But before we dive into the dark side of that theory, let's look at the raw mechanics of their opposition. A perfect rival must be the ultimate inverted mirror of your protagonist. If your hero is a frustrated, stagnant working-class guy, the rival must embody raw privilege or insolent natural genius. Here, the writing pushes that contrast to its absolute limits. Squilliam has succeeded at everything. He is filthy rich, biblically acclaimed, owns a private yacht, a hot air balloon casino, and a sculpted unibrow he's immensely proud of. Squidward, on the other hand, has failed at everything. He is a depressed cashier at the Krusty Krab, stuck living next to an annoying neighbor with a highly questionable musical talent. Squilliam is the maximized version of everything Squidward dreams of being. The sole stake of the relationship is social status and ego. Squilliam only shows up to crush Squidward's pride, and when faced with him, Squidward's obsession is so deep that he is willing to swallow massive lies, like turning the Krusty Krab into a 5-star restaurant just to avoid losing face. Your rival must be living proof of your protagonist's failures. For a rival to truly work, they need to be the hero of their own story. They need a visceral why. And that's where the idea behind Squilliam's true motivation proposed by the Squilliam Theory serves an incredibly original example of a reason for a rivalry. In this theory, Alex Bale proves that Squilliam's success is actually a massive theatrical illusion. In Ben Geeks, for example, he rents out a fake pet hospital just to trick Squidward. In Professor Squidward, he goes as far as buying a rundown old warehouse, dressing it up as a fake prestigious public school, and hiring actors to play his billionaire friends just to lure Squidward in and have him publicly humiliated. But why would Squilliam deploy millions of dollars and so much energy to break a simple cashier if their history wasn't deeply personal? This is Alex Bale's ultimate twist. Squilliam and Squidward aren't just former high school classmates, they're ex-boyfriends. In narrative craft, the most electric rivalries never come from generic hatred, they come from corrupted intimacy. Squilliam is a bitter ex who sacrificed his authenticity for money, and he cannot stand the fact that Squidward, despite his poverty, stubbornly holds onto his artistic integrity. What does this teach us about the craft? The writers created a double impostor. Squidward fakes sophistication to hide his misery, while Squilliam manufactures illusion of grandeur to mask a pathological obsession. By revealing that your rival is just as insecure as your hero, you instantly add an abyssal layer of psychological depth to your narrative. It's this organic tension that avoids the mistake of the placeholder rival, who never evolves. The writers use a perfect structural ping-pong. Squilliam challenges Squidward at the bubble. Squidward suffers crushing failures during rehearsals, but ultimately delivers a legendary rock performance. Squidward's final victory only has value because Squilliam is right there to witness it. The rival served as the ultimate catalyst for growth, forcing Squidward out of his lethargy to achieve something great. So, for your own stories, ask yourself Alex Bale's core question. What is it about your rival's past that makes them absolutely need to beat this specific protagonist and no one else? Let me know in the comments if you buy into this Toxic X theory, and which episode mastered this status dynamic best in your opinion. Let's break this down together down below.